Yeah, I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, thank you. So, very good afternoon to one and all. So, first of all, I would like to thank the IoT Academy for giving this opportunity to discuss about some the important hot topic nowadays. So, I welcome you all for the 7 days National Virtual FDP on Teaching, Learning, and Research. Okay, so here I'll be talking only about the research. And in today's discussion, I'll be talking about research publications in Scopus Web of Science and Next Journals. I myself, Dr. Prem Kumar from the University of College of Engineering. So let me start today's session. So in today's discussion, so what I'll be discussing is first I'll talk about how to write the quality research papers and what are the basic criteria we have for the research papers and what are the restrictions we have, how to select the journals, how to submit it. So all these things I'll be discussing about. It's only about research paper discussion. And I'll be talking about one of the famous AI tool nowadays. People have started using it. So how we can use that AI tool for research paper writing, and what are the pros and cons, and what are the myths. So that I'll be discussing in today's session. And apart from the AI tools, so what are the other research tools are available, like some kind of office tools and some drawing tools, some referencing tools I'll be talking about, and how to select the journal. So we have lakhs of journals nowadays. So, but once you write the paper, they don't know how to select the journal for their paper. So that's what I thought of giving you some kind of guidelines of how to select the proper journal for your paper, and based on what criteria you have to select the journal. So that I'll be discussing today. And finally, I'll be talking about the research profile. So the foremost thing is, this is what the question comes to in everyone's mind. Why the publications are required? Even I'm also working in an institution, and most of my faculty members, the faculty colleagues, are asking why we have to publish. So you should know the motive. You should know the primary objective of the publication. So once you know the primary objective, even you can start publishing papers from today. So that's what I'll discuss today. So the primary importance of the publications, the first one is a dissemination of the knowledge. Though it is required for you, it is required for the society, right? So see that when you do some kind of research, so we are doing it in certain aspect, okay, and you got some kind of research and you discover something new. But if we don't disseminate that knowledge or that of findings to the society, then what is the use of doing it? And once you share it, and the people will start to learn it, and they will extend the research from that point of aspect, or else everyone have to start from the scratch, right? So obviously the research dissemination is always required, okay, and the validation in the peer review. So when you do some kind of research, and you'll be doing it in one aspect, and you'll be thinking that my aspect is always correct, right? Even the results what you get, so you are thinking that that result is always correct, but it's not the case, right? So it need to be validated, need to be assessed, right? So it need to be, if it need to be validated, or if it need to be assessed, so obviously the publications are required. Because when you submit the paper to any of the journal, the paper will go to the experts, the field experts, okay? It is not like a third person. It will go to the field experts, and definitely they will evaluate the quality, originality, and also they will check the validity of your research, okay? And based on that, they'll give the comments, and you may address the comments, and definitely you can get the publication. So this is another importance. And the third one is the advancement of sciences. Okay, so the publications are fundamental means of advancing scientific progress, and this process drives further research. See, when you do something, you should not leave it as such. So if you want to create any kind of a breakthrough, then obviously this need to be disseminated so that the people can start the research from that point, so that they can create some kind of scientific breakthroughs. So that is again another importance. And the fourth one is the career advancement. So the career advancements, it may be for your PhD, or it may be for your the PG courses, or maybe for your UG courses, or maybe for your PhD, and it may be for your promotion in your institutions if you are working. Okay, then for all these career advancements, the publications are required. uh, the most of the people are nowadays, the most of the people are working for this nowadays of career advancement. And apart from that, what we have is academic recognition. So yes, when you do kind of research publications, and the people will start recognizing you, and it will create a lot of impact to the academic society. Okay, and definitely you can achieve a lot of milestones from that. So that for that again, the publications are required. And the impact on the policy and practices. So in most of the policy makers, the practitioners, and some industrial professionals, they people started referring the research papers nowadays to claim that it is a empirical evidence. Okay, to create some kind of new policies or new practices. Okay, so for all these things, the people started referring the research papers. So definitely, whatever the discovery you people are doing, that need to be published, so that that can be a reference for the policy makers to create a new policy and the new practices. Okay, and also the publication improves the collaboration and also the networking, so that you can collaborate and you can exchange your idea. Okay, you can also get some kind of good research idea from your collaborators. Okay, then so this is again a pathway for that. Okay, and finally, we can say it's a preservation of the knowledge. So it is a permanent record. The publications are the permanent record, because you might be knowing that all the publications are coming with a digital object identifier, that is a DOI. So when it is deposited with the DOI, and it's a kind of a permanent record for the scientific findings what you have did, and it can be accessed. Okay, it can be accessed by anyone, by the future generation. So these are all the very important points need to be considered why we have to go for the publications. Okay, and the next I'll be talking about what is a research paper. Okay, so yes, so actually, when you go for the publication, there are two different vertical. So one is a research paper, and another one is a review paper. Okay, so the research paper, it's completely specific to the field, and it is a review paper means it's a kind of the deep analysis of the particular study, and you'll be discussing about the findings by the various researchers, and also you'll be listing what are the advantages, drawback, challenges. Okay, and also you'll be giving some kind of future directions. That's what the review papers differs from the research paper. Okay, so research paper, it's a completely, it deals about in-depth analysis. Okay, and deals about the evaluation of the method of what he have proposed it. Okay, and also, it's an interpretation of a single topic. As I told you, if I take a single topic, I'll be talking only about that particular topic. I'll be giving the solution for only about that particular topic based on the empirical evidences. So this is what the research paper. And the research paper is a comprehensive document that presents the findings, analysis, and interpretation. As I told you, the interpretation may be through the graphs or some kind of figures or some kind of tables. Okay, so through this interpretation, so you can prove that, okay, this is what my finding is, and this is how my methodology is performing. So like that, you can create as a kind of a comprehensive, and it is typically written by scholars or the academicians. Okay, and is used to contribute to the existing knowledge in a particular field or the discipline. And the research papers are the foundations of modern science, and it is the most effective way to share the information across a wide network. Okay, because suppose if you are working in a particular field, and if you are publishing the paper in that particular field, so definitely that paper will reach to the people around the world. Okay, to the people who are working in that particular area, and also it is a base for their work, or you can get the idea from others, and you can also take it as a base work, and you can also develop the further research. So again, for that, again, the research papers are very useful. And researchers state their findings plainly with the corresponding evidences. As I told, the evidences, it may be through the experimentation or it may be through the simulations. We'll be providing some kind of evidences so that we can consequently use the paper in their own research. So this is what the research paper says. And the review papers, as I told you, it's a kind of a comprehensive analysis about the complete topic. Okay, and it's a kind of a complete review process. So I'll not discuss much about that. So my most focus is on the research papers. Okay, so when you deal with the research papers nowadays, a lot of restrictions are there. So what are the restrictions and how we can avoid the desk rejections? So that I'll be telling you now. So how long the research paper should be? So as you would know, you might be knowing that different publications are available, like research paper, review paper, short communication, letters, editorials. Okay, so many publication varieties are there, but each one have its own criteria. So in most of the write-up, you could see the number of words varies from 2000 to 12,000 words. Okay, sometimes it will be more. Suppose if your work is related to some kind of a statistical analysis and all, so sometimes it may exceed 12,000 words also, but it is better to restrict within 12,000 words, because some journals are having restrictions that you should not exceed 8,000 words or 7,000 words, like that. Some restrictions are there. Okay, so based on that, you have to prepare the paper. So in most of the papers have the range is what I have mentioned. It will be there in that range. Okay, so you also try to maintain that range. Okay, and typically, as I said, the research papers runs around 4,000 to 8,000 words. Okay, it is common to see that the short papers or the short communications or the letters, it will be around the 2,000 words. Okay, and sometimes the review papers will go up to 12,000 words, or sometimes will be more than 12,000 words. Okay, and while the length is important, the quality and the clarity of the content is also very important. Okay, so because just by removing the words, you should not compromise the quality and the clarity of the content. Okay, so you should focus on the quality and the clarity. At the same time, you should remove some redundant words. Okay, so that you can avoid the desk rejection. So finally, you have to create a well-structured, coherent, and concise paper that effectively communicates the research findings, analysis, and interpretation. So, my sincere advice is when you write the research paper, don't put any known facts in the paper. So, whatever the known facts are there, so that you remove it or you just short it. Okay, just discuss in a few lines. Okay, about the known facts, but we should discuss more things about the unknown facts. Okay, so that's where you have to focus in the research paper, but your review paper is not like that. Okay, and what should be the structure of the paper? So as you know, we have to start with the title. Okay, and the title always should be concise and informative and accurately reflect your content of the paper. So don't give any generic title. Okay, just be specific. Okay, because why I'm telling you is, when you want to get citations for your paper. Okay, because most of the time the people will search the papers with the keywords. Okay, if that keyword is there in your title, then definitely it will be listed and the people will start refer your paper. So always you be careful while select the title. Okay, so it should be concise. Okay, so my suggestion is the title should not exceed more than 10 words. Okay, so that is the maximum words you can use it for the title. So within that 10 words, you try to write the concise title. The next one is the abstract. So as you know, the abstract is, it's a brief summary of your research paper, and usually it will be around 150 to 250 words. Okay, some journals have the restrictions in the abstract section. So when you submit a paper, they'll be asking you to restrict the number of words to 200 or 150 or 250. Okay, it's always better to keep 150 to 250 words. Okay, it's a brief summary. Okay, and in the abstract, what you have to do is first 2 3 lines you should discuss about you should introduce your the field. Okay, then after that you should discuss about the novelty, and you should discuss about the methodology, and you should discuss about the findings. Okay, so these are the things need to be there in the abstract. Okay, and as I told, don't go less than 150 words also. Okay, don't go beyond 250 words also. So you just try to maintain within this range. And the introduction, The introduction, it discusses about the context for the research and provides the necessary background information. So it's only about the background information. And if you're most of all the quality papers, they will not keep any literature review section as a separate section. So they will definitely they'll try to club with the introduction section. In such case, one or two paragraphs you have to discuss about the background information. Then after that, you have to start discussing about the literature studies. Okay, the literature study, it should you should critically analyze each and every paper. Okay, and you should discuss about the research finding, and you should discuss about the challenges what they faced, and you should discuss about the research gap what is there from the literature study. So that also need to be disclosed in the introduction section itself. So my advice is trying to club the introduction and the literature review in a single title. Okay, if you want to go with separate, it's okay, but it's better to combine both in a single section. Okay. And the next one is the methodology. So here the methodology, you should discuss about only your method or the methodology. Okay, so that is the solution, what kind of solutions you are going to give it for the research problem. Okay, so this methodology should describe the research design, okay, and the sample selection or the data selection, okay, or what kind of materials you are going to select and what kind of circuits you are going to select, okay, and it should discuss about the data collection, and also it should discuss about the data analysis part also. So as I in the methodology section, don't include any known facts. You just remove completely about the known facts, only discuss the unknown facts here, because this is where you're climbing the novelty of your paper. Okay, so here if you discuss only about the known facts, then definitely getting rejection is more. Okay, so avoid the known facts in the methodology. And the next one is research section. In the research section, I'll be talking about the complete with empirical evidences. I'll be analyzing my the results, okay, and I'll be portraying my results through the tables and figures, okay, and also with the help of relevant evidences and the statistical analysis, I'll be discussing why my method performs better. Okay. Everything need to be there in the research section, and the most of the people they omit this section called the discussion section. But the discussion section is always very important, because here only you can interpret and analyze the results in deep, and also you can discuss the merits, demerits, and challenges of your study. So that everything need to be disclosed in the discussion section itself. And finally, we have a conclusion section. So the conclusion section summarizes the key findings. Okay, and here the one advises don't use the phrases what you have used in the abstract. Okay, it should differ, but you should summarize it properly. You should summarize it concisely. Okay, and it should point out whatever the research questions discussed in the introduction section. Your conclusion should give the points for the each research question what you have raised in the introduction section. Okay, and the next one is the reference section. So you have to include all the related references, whatever you have referred it, whatever the sources you have referred, that need to be included in the reference section, and also it need to be cited in the respective sections. Okay, and finally we'll be having some kind of appendices. Okay, if we have any kind of a supporting material, if any kind of a derivation part is there, or some kind of survey part is there, okay, if you feel that is not required in the main text, so that everything you can shift it to the appendices section. Okay, so this is what the structure of the paper, the structure of the research paper. Okay, and still I can give you the overview about the structure. So this is the concise the instruction for creating a research paper, writing a research paper. So as I said, the title, it should not cross 10 words, and it's better to have abstract within 200 words, 150 to 200 words. And as I said, introduction, literature review, you just combine it. Okay, and do literature, thorough literature, by referring to the new and related papers. Okay, don't cite or don't include any of the irrelevant papers in your paper, so that if you include it, then definitely that will spoil the reputation of the paper as well. Okay, so do a literature study with by referring to newly published and relevant papers. Okay, and the methods, as I said, be specific, remove all the known facts there. Okay, and then in the results, you should do the comprehensive analysis. As I said already, in the results section, you'll be conveying everything through the figures, tables, and discussions. But there, you should do the comprehensive analysis also. So why your method is performing better? Why your method is performing better for all the case studies? So likewise, you have to give the proper justification why your method performs better. So that need to be discussed with the research section. And the discussion section, as I told, we'll be talking about the findings, limitations, and the challenges. And the conclusion in the future section. So in the conclusion section itself, we have to discuss, or you have to give the directions for the future study. Okay, and as I told, the conclusion must be concise. Okay, and there should not be any say that you should not have any similar phrases in the abstract and the conclusion section. So that you have to be very careful. Okay, if any funding mandate is there, okay, if you want to acknowledge any person or any institution or any agency, so that need to be acknowledged in the acknowledgement section. And the references, so as I told, you should refer to the new relevant references. Okay, if it is a research paper, try to restrict the number of references. You should have minimum of 25 references for the research paper, and you should have a minimum of 100 related new papers for the review papers. Okay, this is how you have to perform the review study, okay, or review paper. And the tables and figures, you should avoid unnecessary tables and figures. If you convey through the table, that should not be conveyed through the figure. Okay, so both should not be there. Anyone can be there. Okay, so just try to avoid the unnecessary tables and figures. Okay, so this is how the structure of the research paper. Okay, if you follow this, so definitely you can avoid all the disk rejection. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, the cover letter. The cover letter is very important. Okay, you should give at least half an hour time to write the cover letter. Okay, because most of the time the editors will read the cover letter to send the paper for the review, or to send the paper for the subject editors. Okay, so that time, if you are not submitting any cover letter, if your cover letter is poor, and definitely from that instant itself you'll be getting a rejection. So in the cover letter, you should discuss about what method you have used, what is the importance of your paper, okay, what is the scope of the paper, okay, and what is the novelty of the paper that need to be discussed in the cover letter itself when you submit it. Okay, so as I said, the editor-in-chief, most of the time they'll read the cover letter, and based on that, they will assess your paper, and they will send the paper to the subject editor, or sometimes they will directly send to the reviewer. Okay, so put some effort while writing the cover letter. Okay, the next one I'll be talking about the AI tool. So as I told, the AI tool, nowadays we have so many AI tools are available. Okay, can we use those AI tool for writing a paper? Okay, so that's what I'll be discussing here. Okay, so this GPT can be useful for generating ideas and getting initial draft for the research paper. However, there are few things need to be considered when you use this tool for research paper writing. So if you want to get any kind of a new idea, or if you want to draft your paper, the initial draft of your paper, yes, you can use it. Okay, but you have, before using it, you should consider all these points. Okay, the very first one is fact checking. Okay, so you don't rely on the GPT tools. Okay, so it means whatever the information it gives, okay, it is not 100% correct, because as you know, these GPT tools are trained with a lot of internet data. Okay, so if it is trained properly for that particular topic, you may get a proper points or proper reasons. Sometimes, no, it will give the irrelevant answers. So without knowing that, if you use that content for writing a paper, then definitely, you'll be getting a rejection, and you'll be fired by the publishers also. Okay, so just keep this point in your mind. Okay, so before submitting the paper, if you write anything through the tool, then you should check it properly. You have to check the fact of that content properly. Okay, so maybe you can verify with the help of any other research papers, or you can verify with the experts. Okay, the next one is a critical thinking. Okay, so these tools will not generate or will not do any kind of comprehensive analysis. Okay, it generates only a text. Okay, so as a researcher, we have to critically analyze your the findings. Okay, and you have to incorporate your own analysis and your own interpretation. Okay, so it will not do any critical thinking, so that it will not do any comprehensive analysis. Okay, and the structure and organization. Okay, so as I told you already, this tools are trained based on the patterns or some blogs or some research papers available on internet with lacks of data they trained. Okay, so when it is like this, a lot of clumsy data will be there. So because of that, it will not give most of the time. It will not give the proper structure for the paper and the proper organization for the paper. Okay, so you have to be very careful as a researcher. You have to organize it. You have to structure it properly. Okay, and the next one is a citation and the referencing. Okay, so since it is a text-based tool, it will not have any kind of a referencing tool. Okay, but nowadays they started giving some kind of add-ons. Maybe in future you may get add-ons for the referencing tool also, but as of now we don't have any add-ons for the referencing. So all the references you people have to find and you have to cite it properly. Okay, so because for the publications, at least you have to submit the paper with some appropriate styles like APA or MLA styles. Okay, you have to follow it, but that's not possible with this tool. Okay, so can be used to write a scientific research paper. This is what the people will be asking. Yes, you can do. Okay, so what you can do and what are the things you have to do after getting the data. So that I discussed here. Okay, the first one, as I told, for the idea generation, you can use this tool. Okay, so that if you put some questions to this and if you ask something from that, it will ask you, it will tell you, okay, this may be the better idea, you can go ahead with this. So like that, it will give some kind of suggestions for the research questions what you're asking. Okay, and you sometimes you can do some kind of a literature study also, but as I told you already, it will not give 100% accurate results. So obviously the fact checking is always required. Okay, so is it possible to gather or analyze the data? So collect the data through the experiments. Obviously, that we have to do, because the tool cannot do any kind of experiments. The tool cannot do any kind of surveys. Okay, so as a researcher, we have to do kind of experiments. We have to collect the data. Once you collect the data, and with the help of these tools, we can analyze. Okay, in some aspect, we can analyze it, and through some charts, okay, through some figures or graphs, we can interpret your data. Okay, so for that purpose, we can use these tools. Okay, and organize your paper. Okay, so maybe if you ask these tools, it will give some kind of rough structure for your paper. So based on the rough structure, you can reorganize it, and so that we can have a better flow in the paper. Okay, and edits and proofread your paper. See, most of the time, uh, we Indians are very weak in English, right? So we will not speak the proper English. So when you write the scientific papers, obviously, the language must be in the top level. So because all these are the scientific publications, for the scientific publications, the proper language quality is required. Okay, so you can use these tools to remove the grammatical errors, the punctuation errors, and the spelling errors. Okay, and sometimes sometimes it can rephrase the known words. Okay, but you should not rephrase the technical words. So some kind of the official discussions you can rephrase it. Okay, with the help of these tools. Okay, so in this way, we can use AI tools to write the research papers. Okay, but as I told you, it will not do any kind of analysis. So you people have to do. You can take it as support, and you can do something with the help of this tool. Okay, it's not like with the tool we can write the complete paper. It's not like that. Okay, so now there are a lot of myths about the AI tools. Okay, so I'll just discuss about the myths. Okay, what are the myths are there in writing the research papers? Okay, and I'll be telling you the first one is ChatGPT can write a scientific research paper entirely on its own. As I told you, it will not do any kind of comprehensive analysis. It will not give the proper contents. It will not give the proper organization. It will not do any proper organization. Then definitely it cannot write the paper on its own. Okay, so this need to be checked properly with the human expertise, and the human researchers have to do the critical analysis when you write the papers. But the most of the people are telling the tools can write the complete paper, but it's not the right one. Okay, you should not do that. And the next one, it can replace the human researchers in the scientific research. This is what the people are telling, right? So nowadays, all the AI tools can replace the human researchers in the scientific research. So as I told, this is a text-based tool. Okay, so definitely there is no possibility of replacing the human. Okay, so the expertise and the skills of human researchers are always necessary in the scientific research, because as I told you already, research generated by the AI tool is not the right one. So obviously we need to have a fact checking. For fact checking, the expertise is required always. Okay, and the third one, so these tools can analyze and interpret data without human input. So definitely not. Okay, if you put some data, it will think something and it will do on its own. Okay, it will do the analysis on its own. It will start interpret on its own. But that's not the right one, right? Because whatever the way we ask, whatever the script we put, okay, based on that only it will analyze and it will interpret the data. So obviously, without human inputs, it cannot do anything. Without inputs, we cannot. This because, as I told you, this is a text-based tool. It has some kind of intelligence, but obviously, the human inputs are always essential. Okay, and this is again another myth that people are talking. The AI tool can generate the content that is 100% plagiarism free. So the many of people are telling that, and the people are using it for this by considering this myth. It's not at all true. Okay, because nowadays when you submit the papers, okay, when you submit the papers, it will be it will be scanned through some kind of a plagiarism tools. Okay, so in the plagiarism tools, the people started adopting the AI technology over there also. Okay, so whatever the AI tools are using, whatever the algorithm the AI tools are using, the same algorithms, even that is plagiarism tools also using. If you are generating any content through the AI tools, that plagiarism tools will capture it easily. Because nowadays, as you know, just before the March 2023, when you take the plagiarism reports, okay, you can see only the plagiarism or similarity percentage you can see. But nowadays, you can see along with the similarity report, you can see the AI report also. Okay, so that the AI report says how much percentage of the write-up is done with the help of AI tools. Okay, so in that way, if you're caught by the publisher, you will be punished and you will not be allowed to publish any of the papers with that respective publishers. So you have to be very careful when we use the AI tools for generating any content. Okay, so this is not true. So please, if you have something in your mind that we can generate 100% plagiarism free data from the AI tools, no, it's not at all possible. Okay, even if it shows similarity is zero, okay, even if it shows similarity is zero, there it will show AI score is 100%. Okay, nowadays the journals have their restrictions that the AI score should not exceed 10%. If it exceeds 10%, then obviously your paper will be discontinued. Okay, so keep this point in your mind. Okay, the next one, and also you can, I'll just give you some kind of a demonstration, okay, so that you can understand how we can how these AI tools are tracking the AI content. Okay, that I'll just give you some demonstration so that you can understand. Okay, so another myth is the AI tool can write in any scientific field. Yes, obviously it can write, but the facts are not correct. Okay, so as I told, it has ability to write anything, okay, in the scientific field, but it is essential to provide a chat GPT with the specific information and the context to ensure the accurate and effective writing. Okay, and next one, these AI tools can generate the content that is free of errors and mistakes. As I told, definitely the human expertise are required to correct these errors and mistakes. As I told, it will not give always 100% accurate result. Okay, and another myth is it can generate the content that is better than human written content, so it's absolutely not possible. Okay, so because we only know in what aspect we are doing the research, and we only can write the content properly. Okay, so if this statement is there, you please omit it. Okay, only the human can write the proper content and appropriate content. Okay, and this AI tool can write content that is more persuasive than the human written content. So no, it's not possible. Okay, so the persuasion requires, as you know, that the persuasion requires a human communication skill and emotional intelligence, and this tool may not be used as convincing as a human written content. Okay, so maybe it is a guide. That's it. It's a kind of a support. It's a kind of a guidance. So that cannot replace the human written content. And the tool can write the content that is completely objective. Yes, sometimes it's okay, but always it because the data, whatever it is generating, it's based on the human inputs what we are giving it. Okay, so therefore it may contain some kind of subjective biases. So obviously, always you have to review and you have to edit the content generated. Okay, and to get the proper objective. Okay, and the final myth is the AI tool can make up for a lack of research and knowledge. No. Okay, as I told, it is good as the research and knowledge that is provided to it. Therefore, it is still essential for the researchers to have the expertise and the knowledge in their field. So even if it generates, but if we don't know how to interpret it, then obviously whatever the research it provides or whatever the knowledge it provides, it's of completely waste, right? So obviously the researcher's expertise is always required to have the effective content. Okay, so these are all the myths, the top 10 myths I listed here. Okay, so the other than that, so many myths are there, but as I told, use this tool as a supportive tool. Okay, and don't take it as a primary tool for writing your research publications. Okay, so I'll just give you some kind of the example, okay, and how you can track your AI content, so that I'll be telling you. So for that, I'll just go here, I'll go to my search bar, and I'll just go to here, my AI tool, okay, and here you can see that there is a window called new chat. Okay, I'll just click this. Okay, it will open the new text window. Okay, so in this text window you can ask any question. So whatever the question you have it in your mind, you can ask any kind of questions. Okay, and it will try to give the answer based on the script whatever you're going to post it. Okay, so let me give one question. Okay, can you write something about communications? So here you see that the communication means there are two different communications. Okay, one is the verbal communication is there. Another one is, in the engineering also we'll be having the communication systems we have. Okay, so when you put only this kind of question, so it will because as I told you, it is trained with the help of thousands and lakhs of data available in the internet. It will generate on its own. Okay, so let me enter it. Okay, just try to see that what kind of response it gives. You can see that since I gave only the keyword of communication, it takes the communication as a verbal communication. It started giving some kind of text based on that verbal communication. But the same here, I'll ask the same question in a different way. But you just because I just want to know communication related in terms of the engineering field. Okay, I'll just reinterpret the question like this. Can you write something about about communication systems in space. So I just want to know something about the space communication. Okay. So the same communication word is there. Since I related that communication word with the space, so that you can see that it will start discuss about the communication related to the data communication or the analog communication or the digital communication. You can see that. So this is how the data will be generated. As I told you, the text what it has generated and it has given, it may not be true always. It may not be accurate always. Okay, so we need, as a human researcher, we have to take it and we have to read it. Is it proper or not? Okay, is it correct or not? We have to discuss with the expertise. So then we have to take it forward and we have to take it as a supportive and you can write it on your wall. Okay, so this is how you have to use the tool to generate the data. Okay, and I'll just give you one simple example. Okay, how the AI detectors are working. Okay, so see that he just put it in the research engine, the AI detector. Okay, you can find a lot of AI tools. Okay, you can find a lot of AI detection tools. Okay, so see, each tool or the each detector has its own algorithm. Okay, so when I put some kind of a text in it, okay, it will tries to compare the algorithm what it is using, what that particular detector is using. So that algorithm will generate the data. It will generate some text, and that text will be matched with my own text, and based on the comparison it will say that whether it is a human written content or the AI written content. So based on that you can take a decision. So I'll just use some tools. Okay, and also one more thing here you have to keep it in your mind is all the detectors will not give the same percentage, because each detector is having its own algorithm. Then obviously the percentage given by the each detector will be always different. Okay, so I just copy some content. Okay, I'll just copy some content from here. Okay, and I just want to check it whether it is written by a human or the AI. Okay, so I'll just put it here something, and I'm just checking it. Okay, okay, you just see that this particular complete write-up is written by the AI. You can see that if I hover my cursor on the text, you can see that 97.4 percentage probability for the AI. So it means that this content is completely written by the AI tool. So this same thing will be scanned by your plagiarism tool. There it will show your the AI content, AI score it will show. So as I told, each detector will have its own algorithm. Okay, so I'll just use some other tool to check it. Okay, I'll just keep it here something. Okay, again I'm just analyzing it. And here you see that here it has shown the probability as what 97 percentage of the content is written by the AI. But this tool I used, okay, here it shows that the 82 percentage of the content is generated by the AI, and the remaining 80 percentage is written by the human. Okay, like that. So similarly, here we have another tool. Okay, and here also I'll just put it. Okay, here also I'll put it. Okay, and here you can see that it will give that 100% fake. Okay, so the first one gave 97 percentage, second one gave some 82 percentage, and the third one gave 100 percentage content is written by the AI tool. Okay, and we have another one. Okay, I think for this we need a login. Okay, so let it be. So this is how you can easily check whether the content is written by the AI tool or not. Okay, I hope you got some kind of idea about this. Okay, maybe I feel it will be useful for you people. Okay, so you please when you if you are using it, okay, you have to be very careful. And because now the journals are taking severe action. Okay, and if they blacklist you, you cannot publish any paper with that particular publisher. Similarly, if you submit to other one, and definitely if everyone bans you, then you cannot do any things in the research field. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you use these kind of tools. Okay, so apart from this AI tool, so what are the other tools we have? for write-up. Okay, so mostly the people might be knowing, most of the people will be using the Microsoft Office. Okay, something if you are related to mathematics. Okay, if you have more number of equations, more number of chemical reactions are there, then it is better to go with the latex software. Okay, so even the latex is the completely open source version, but the Microsoft Office is the most preferred one, but it is a commercial version. If you have money or if you have a license, then obviously you can go with the Microsoft Office. But if you feel your paper has a lot of mathematical equations, okay, or the chemical reactions like that, and if you want to have the proper good quality of the images in your paper, and it's better to go with latex. Okay, so if you feel the Microsoft Office is the commercial version, so we have so many open source Office tools are there. Here I just listed only two. One is Open Office and one is LibreOffice. Okay, these two are the open source tools, so we can use it for you can use it as a alternate for the Microsoft Office. But the MS Office is always better. It has some kind of user friendly add-on, so that you can do a lot of things with the Microsoft Office. But Open Office and LibreOffice to start with, it's okay. Okay, then apart from that, we have a lot of drawing tools. Okay, so here I just listed many tools. So out of that, the one of the most professional drawing tool is the Microsoft Visio. Okay, so again, it is a commercial version released by the Microsoft. Okay, so if you have the licensed version, it is always better to go with the Microsoft Visio, or else you try to go with that Word.io. So it is again both online and offline tool is there. If you want offline tool, you can download the software and you can install it, and it has all the packages. It may be suitable for all the scientific fields. Okay, I think it may not be useful for the medical field. Okay, but for other than that, it can be useful for any other the scientific fields. Apart from that, we have so many tools. Each one is having its advantages and drawback, and most of the tools are online tools. Okay, but what the first tool what I suggested, it is the offline tool, so you can use it. You can keep it in your laptop or your PC, and you can use it at any time. Okay, and a lot of reference management tools also available. Okay, so I just listed very few the reference management tools like Zotero, Mendeley, Eno, Refor, Citavi, Paperpile, and Dossier. Okay, so in which only three tools are the free tools. One is Zotero and Mendeley and Dossier. These three are the free tools. Out of these three free tools, the one of the user friendly, one of the most preferred referencing tool is Mendeley. Okay, it's very easy to use. Okay, and it is released by the Elsewhere. Okay, and it is free up to a certain capacity. So if it is more than that, again it is a commercial basis. Okay, but for the researchers like us, it may be sufficient. Okay, and suppose if you want to have the more space and if you want to work around the world, okay, if anyone want to access it, your content, okay, then it is better to go with EndNote. Okay, the EndNote is released by the Clarivate Analytics. Okay, but the EndNote is completely a commercial. Okay, so if your institution or the university is having the subscription with the EndNote, we can go with EndNote. So apart from all these tools, I prefer Mendeley and EndNote. Okay, especially the Mendeley since it is a free tool. But if you have a license, then better to go with the EndNote, because EndNote is having multiple features than the Mendeley. Okay, and there is no restriction towards the capacity or the memory capacity. Okay, and we need a separate session to discuss about all these tools. So I'm just giving you one big overview about these tools. That's it. Okay. Yes. So now we have written the paper. Okay. And now what we have to do is one big question comes to their mind is how to choose the journal. Okay. So you just ask yourself all these four questions. Okay. And based on the response for these four questions, you can select the journal. Okay. So the first question is, what audience do you want to reach? Okay, so who reads the journal and what is the journal scope? So based on that, okay, you have to select it. And how prestigious is the journal in your field? Okay, instead going with the new journals, okay, you have to go with some prestigious journal. Why? Because you'll get a lot of audience, you'll be getting a lot of readers. So once you get a lot of readers, then obviously, the visibility of your paper will be more and the citation of your paper will be more. So obviously, you have to see the prestigious of the journal, okay. And the third question is how long does it take to publish? So this is very important fact nowadays, okay. So if I submit paper today, how long it will take to publish my paper? Okay, you have to see from the day one to the first decision, from the day one to the first review, and from the day one to revision, from the day one to acceptance. Okay, you have to see all these time durations. If it is okay for you, then you can go with that respective one. Okay, and the next question is how much does it cost? Okay, so nowadays, most of the journals are going with the open access basis. So if they go with the open access basis, then obviously we have to pay the article processing charge. Okay, we have to see how much article processing charge for the respective journal. Okay, if it is within your budget or if it is affordable by you, you can go with the open access journals, or else you simply have to go with subscription based journals. Even some of the open access journals are available at free of cost, but the review time, everything will be more than a year, or sometimes it will go after 2 to 3 years also. Even if it is accepted also, it will take more time for the publication, because since everything is running at free of cost, they will take much time to keep your paper online. Okay, that's why the most of the open access journals like IEEE Speeches and all, they will keep your paper immediately on the online, so that the people can start refer your paper from the instant of the acceptance itself. So that's how the technology is going nowadays. But still, few journals are having the open access without any fees, but they will take years of time to process your paper. Okay, so based on these responses, you can select the journal. Okay, and what are the indexing databases? Again, when you select the journal, I told one point that how prestigious is your journal is. Okay, so that prestigious level can be checked with the help of the publishers. Which publisher is that journalist? Okay, and apart from that, what indexing it is having. Okay, so the first three known indexing databases are Web of Science, Scopus, and Google Scholar. Apart from that, we have so many indexing databases like PubMed is there, okay, and DOAH is there, and EA Compendex is there by the Elsewhere again, and Abasco and Cosmos. So we have so many indexing databases available nowadays. Okay, so in that, the topmost indexing databases of Web of Science, that is your SCI indexed journal. Okay, SCI is a Science Citation Indexed expanded, and SSCI is nothing but Social Science Citation Index. And these two are the quality journals. Suppose if your work is related to social sciences, your paper will be indexed by the SSCI. If it is all scientific papers, so that will go to the SCI indexing. Okay, these two are the top indexing. Okay, and in that also we'll be having different quartiles like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. If you have the one paper in Q1 SCI, then definitely the value for you, it is more than anyone else. Okay, so that's what nowadays we people have to focus, that quartile one SCI journals. It's not like it is easy. I'm not saying it is easy, but it's tough. But if you have a one paper at least in the Q1 SCI, then obviously the level of research will be another aspect. Okay. Then apart from that, in the Web of Science itself, we have ESCI and CPCI. So ESCI is the Emerging Science Citation Index. So it's only for the basic level of Web of Sciences. Okay. And the CPCI is the Conference Proceeding Citation Index. So it's only for the conference proceedings. Okay, and the next one is the Scopus. As you know, the Web of Science is given by the Clarivate Analytics. It is indexed by the Clarivate Analytics, and the Scopus indexing is provided by the Elsewhere. Okay, so in the Elsewhere, this Scopus also will be having different quartiles like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, so if it is Q1 Scopus, obviously it is almost top in the Scopus data. So you don't think that this quartile and the Web of Science quartile is same. So, for example, I will be telling you the journal which is in Q1 Scopus, the same journal is there in Q4 SCI. Okay, so it doesn't mean that both are same. Okay, the Q1 Scopus may be Q4 SCI. Okay, our Q1 Scopus may be Q1 SCI. So that possibility is also there. Okay, but both are having the different levels of assessment. Okay, so but always, as I said, if we have the Q1 SCI, always you'll be the top researcher, I can say. Okay, and apart from that, the Google Scholar indexing is also available, but the Google Scholar will index all the type of journals, books, conference papers, theses, dissertations, preprints, abstracts, technical reports, okay, newspapers, magazines, patents, everything will be indexed by the Google Scholar. But the Web of Science and the Scopus will index only research papers, review papers, short communication papers, and letters, okay, and the conference papers. Okay, apart from that, none of the things will be indexed by the Scopus and the Web of Sciences. Okay, so based on this, you can select the journal again and breadths of predatory. So I'll just go through the slides quickly. So I'm just running late now. So predatory journals. So you have to be very careful about the predatory journals. The predatory journals are it's a fake journals. Okay, so they'll be opening the website in the name of the original journal, and they'll ask you to submit your paper, and they'll give the review decision in 1 or 2 days, and they'll ask you to pay some of money, and they will take the money and they will publish the paper and they'll leave. Okay, but after publication, if we come to know that it's a predatory journal, once your paper is published in predatory journal, that paper is it's like you have thrown in the dustbin. Okay, it means you cannot index anywhere. Okay, it cannot be indexed by Google Scholar also. So the paper waste and your money is also waste. So just be aware of the predatory journal. So when you submit the paper, you check in multiple aspect. You check the journal authenticity. Okay, and after that, if you feel the journal is proper, and if you feel the journal is perfect, then you go for it. So just try to avoid all these predatory journals. So suppose if you get any emails to submit your papers, we will give decision in 1 or 2 days. Like that, if you get any kind of emails, don't respond to that. Okay, so those journals are definitely, it can be a predatory journals. Okay. Yes. So statement of work and conflict of interest. So nowadays these statements are very important in the paper. Okay. So you should disclose the author contribution statements in the paper. So suppose if a number of authors are more than one. Okay. Then what is the contribution by the each author? So that need to be disclosed in the paper. And suppose if you have any conflict of interest, or if you have a financial interest, or if you have any funding sources, that need to be disclosed in the acknowledgement section and the conflict of interest section. Okay, so you should disclose everything. If there is no conflict and you mention that there is no conflict of interest. But if it is a funding mandate, obviously you should mention the funding agency along with the funding numbers that need to be defined in the acknowledgement section or the funding section. Okay, and submitting your paper. Okay, so as I told, you just keep everything ready, the paper, cover letter. Okay, and check the author's instruction whether it is meeting author or all the author guidelines. Okay, if ever, then sometimes the journals will be asking the potential reviewers. Okay, just be ready in all aspects, then you go for the submission. Okay, when you go for the submission, and this is what the people are thinking, can we submit a paper into two journals simultaneously? Don't do that, because nowadays, okay, we have a lot of tracking mechanism. Okay, when you submit a paper to one publisher or one journal, okay, it will be encrypted, it will be stored in the database. If you're submitting the same paper to the other journal, then obviously the people can track you easily, and if they feel that you're doing multiple submissions, okay, again there is a problem of ban. Okay, so they'll ban you to publish a paper in that particular channel. Okay, don't do any multiple submissions. Okay, and before submitting, you check the paper for the plagiarism. Okay, as I discussed you already. Okay, we have to use only the professional tools like Authenticate or Turnitin. So these are the professional plagiarism tools. Okay, and apart from that, some other tools also there, but these two are the most preferred tools by most of the publishers. Okay, and don't do any kind of plagiarism check through the online. Okay, because if you do it, definitely your data will be, you'll be losing the data. Okay, keep it in your mind. Try to check with only these two tools. Okay, and suppose if your university is having the login, you can do it, or else you try to get help from your friends and check with these professional tools. Okay, so here out of these two tools, the Turnitin is having the AI enabled content that it can easily check, but still the Authenticate is not having that AI enabled content. Okay, but they said within the 10-15 days they are also going to introduce that AI content detection also. Okay, so it means all the professional tools are using the AI content detection. So be aware of using the AI tools. Okay, and ready to submit? Yes, if you are ready to submit, so where to submit? As I told, the based on the prestigious level, based on the open access level, all these things you can select the journal. And here we have some kind of publication recommenders. Okay, through the publication recommenders also you can select the journal. Okay, I'll just give you one simple demonstration how to select the papers, how to select the journal for your paper with the help of some kind of recommendation system. So I'll just take elsewhere recommended system. Okay, I'll take elsewhere journal finder. Okay, this I will take it. Okay, this I will click it. Once you Google it, this page will open. Okay, and here what you have to do is you have to put your title in the abstract. So I have opened one of my paper, already published paper. I just opened it just for the demonstration purpose. So I'll just put my title here. Okay, and I'll just copy my abstract here. Okay, just copy the abstract and I'll put it here. Yeah, I put it here. You can see that I'll just click find journals. So what again, this elsewhere is also using some kind of AI tools, okay, to detect which journal is suitable for your title in the abstract. Okay, and based on that suggestions, here you can see that it provides a lot of suggestions. So these are all the suitable journals for your paper. Okay, and also at the top it shows the matching score. Okay, so it's about some 40% matching is there, and also you can see the prestige level of your journal. You see that the site score is about 19.1. It is too good. And the impact factor, you see that it's this impact factor is given by the Clarivate Analytics. It's about 11.5. It is simply outstanding. And you can see that acceptance rate is only 13%. And you just look at this, the time to first decision is 1 week, and the time to publication is 2 weeks. Okay, so here you could see that the time frame, some time frame is there, and the metrics also there. Okay, and also you can also observe that the open access fee, how much it is, about $4,000, and the subscription fee, it's about no publication charges. Okay, so if you have funds to support open access, you can go with open access. Okay, or if you don't have any funds, you can go with a subscription based. Okay, so likewise for all the journals, it has listed all the metrics and all the time frame. So based on this, you can select the journal and you can submit your paper. You simply just put submit paper, so it will go to the submission system. There you do the registration and you can submit your paper. Okay, so likewise, we have IEEE Publication Recommender, Springer, Taylor and Francis Wiley, and the last two is a common one. So those two recommendation system will give the recommendation of any journal. But first to five, it's only about the particular that respective publishers. It will check the journals and it will show. Okay, and the peer review process, this you might be knowing it. Once you submit the paper, it will be assessed by the editor and it will be sent to the reviewer. The reviewer will give the decision and they'll give the comments. Based on the comments, whether it is accepted or rejected or revision. And once it is revision is submitted, again it will be assessed by the reviewer. Okay, and again the recommendation is given to the editor. Then the editor will decide whether to accept the paper or the reject the paper. If it is accepted, it will go to the protection department. So once it goes to the protection department, there you have to do a lot of other formalities, like if it is open access journal, you have to pay the fee and you have to complete all the copyrights forms, everything. Once you submit all these things, and from the protection department, you'll be getting the galley proof or the proofread copy, you'll get it. So once you correct everything, finally, the paper will be published. This is what the entire peer review process. Okay, once it is a paper is accepted or rejected, you don't worry about it. If it is accepted, be happy. If it is rejected, you can just try to take all the comments and just try to incorporate all the suggestions, and you just submit the paper to some other channel to get the acceptance. Okay? And as a author, okay, as an author or as a researcher, okay, you should have the profiles in the multiple social medias. Okay, the very first one is ORCID ID. So ORCID ID is a common ID. It's a unique ID for each researcher. Okay, nowadays during the submission system itself, you people have to provide the ORCID ID. Okay, it's, as I told, it's a unique ID. So it's a kind of the ID to track the persons, the individuals research and the individuals metrics. Okay, so nowadays it's mandate to submit the papers also. So try to have the ORCID ID by today itself. You try to create it and keep it with you ready for the submissions. Okay, the next one is a Web of Science profile. So as I told, this is done by the Clarivate Analytics. Just go to the Clarivate Analytics site, and there you can create your profile. And there, the another advantage with the Clarivate Analytics profile is you can add all your reviews. Suppose if you're doing a review, okay, it list it will list all the papers what you have reviewed, and it will list whatever the paper you have published in the Web of Science, and it will list whatever the papers cited by whatever the papers cited your papers. So everything will be there in that Web of Science profile. Okay, then after that, Google Scholar will be there, and the Scopus profile will be there. Once we publish the first paper in the Scopus, then definitely by default the Scopus profile will be created. Just go to that, just keep your records properly so that you can easily track all your Scopus publications and Scopus citations. Okay, similar way you can create the Google Scholar ID also. Just go to Google Scholar and create your profile with your institution email ID, and so that you can organize all your papers, all your metrics like H index, IT index, okay, all your citations, everything you can have it. You can organize it with Google Scholar profile. Then apart from that, the other three, ResearchGate, Academy, and Microsoft Academic ID, all three are the social medias. Okay, so there you create a profile and just share your research papers in those the profiles, so that you'll be getting a lot of visibility, you'll be getting a lot of citations, you'll be getting a lot of collaboration as well. Okay, apart from that, you try to have the personal website so that you can list everything in your website, and just try to disseminate your website with all the people, so that the people will understand the so and so person is doing the work in this particular field, and so this personal website is also useful for getting more citations and getting more reputations. This is my personal suggestion. Okay, and with this, I just want to acknowledge that the contents of the other peers whose contents are being used to comprehend the subject better, and I do so solely for the academic purposes. I do not claim any ownership of any of the contents what I have used for the entire presentation. Okay, yes, so with this I would like to close my presentation. So this is my contact detail. So if you want to have any kind of interaction with me, you can contact me at any time. Okay, even if you have any doubts, you can contact me at any time. So now maybe the forum is open for the questions. So